Hello, YouTube. This is Old School from whatthebuck.net coming to you live from our YouTube channel. We got a lot of things to report from Tampa. Obviously, if you watch this channel often, you see my posts about the front office, the release of Derrick Brooks, amongst others. My relative vitriol about that. The Bucs jumped with both feet into free agency today by signing or trading for K2, Kellen Winslow II, who you may remember from such wonderful outtakes as...
They're gunning for my legs. I'm going to come right back at him. Soldier.
He is tough. Very tough. I mean, not tough enough to play a whole season, because I don't know that he's done that since he hit the league, but he is a soldier, folks. He's a soldier. So the team that has so many holes, which is us, tight end not being one of them, interestingly enough, went and traded a second and a sixth or a third and a fourth. There's multiple reports that I've seen anyway about what we traded. It's 2 draft picks for Kellen Winslow II. This is probably a hard decision, but Coach Morris on decisions.
Unfortunately, we've been put in a role as decision makers.
Our head coach thinks it's unfortunate that he and Mark Dominic have been put in the role of decision makers. But the decision they made today was to get a tight end onto a team that doesn't really need any more tight ends. Now, that all being said, Kellen Winslow is clearly a unique talent. He is an incredibly physically gifted receiver, was a coveted draft pick, has shown when he's on the field he can be a tremendous player. He may come off like a complete douche. In his press conference today, he came off actually very good, I thought. At 1:15, they did a press conference from One Buck Place. I thought he did a good job with that. I just don't know why this was the move to make, especially on the heels of the jettisoning of a number of elder talents and a team like this that has so many gaps. The only plausible explanation I've heard thus far is with the release of Ike Hilliard as our possession receiver, having a tight end who would be more consistent. Alex Smith certainly has suffered from consistency issues. Jeremy Stevens may or may not be here, and a lot of people hate Jeremy Stevens. And John Gilmore, though serviceable, is more of a blocking tight end. He may not have a place in this new offense. Maybe this is the Ike Hilliard replacement. Winslow Jr. is a hell of a tight end and probably a top 5 tight end in the league if he can stay healthy. I'm not a fan necessarily personally, but as a Buccaneer, I will give him the benefit of the doubt, and hopefully he will convert me. I am just not exactly excited about this particular trade. And, obviously a lot of Bucs fans thought Albert Haynesworth was in the cards. He signed for just about what we thought he would, $100 million. It has the opportunity to go higher than that with the Redskins. Redskins also signed D'Angelo Hall. They're, of course, always an active participant in free agency, though it seems to do very little to help them do anything whatsoever in the postseason or get to the postseason in most cases. On other news of Bucs interest, there's been a lot of discussion about Jonathan Vilma from the Saints. You can go ahead and put that aside. Jonathan Vilma was re-signed by the Saints today. As far as Mike Clayton, M80, who I would like to see run out on a rail after his comments post the season and post the Gruden firing, he is receiving a ton of interest from the Lions, and that would be awesome in my mind. I wish I had a sound click for that. I thought I did. Oh, well. That would be awesome if he actually went to the Lions. I do.
That was awesome.
And he's also getting attention from the Vikings, which would be less awesome because the Vikings actually have a good squad. I'd hate to see him go out there and do good things because I think he's a clown shoe. Other news from around the league is relatively scarce. You saw Fred Taylor as well as Baker went over to the Patriots, where most older players go to retire and collect Super Bowl rings. There's a ton of talk down here in Tampa about quarterback Matt Castle, still somehow part of the conversation. There's a lot of hubbub around Rex Grossman because he's got a quote-unquote vertical game. Sadly, he also has absolutely nothing but a vertical game. He can throw the ball a long way down the field, which is the same thing Luke McCown can do, so I'm not quite sure why that's of any interest. There was some discussion this morning on 10:10 a.m. with our boy Mike Pepper and Tom Krasnicki about Ryan Fitzpatrick, the mighty, mighty Harvard man out of Cincinnati, being a potential depth adder for the quarterback position, and I happen to think that's complete garbage, though Thunder Dan Orlovsky is available. So, anyway, Bucs news. The only thing we've done of any interest is, other than purge a bunch of legends from our roster recently, is we did sign K2 to a contract on a trade from the Cleveland Browns, which, who knows, maybe it'll start a one-way trend from Browns to here. Winslow and Luke McCown did play together in Cleveland. There is a rapport there, and that may bode well for Luke going into camp. Anyway, that's the report. If I hear more, I'll do it. Thanks for listening. We are going to be live, not this Thursday coming, but the week after, as I'm going to Vegas. Thanks so much for tuning in. Talk to you later.